he was right. They did lose as a team. The win as a team, not so much.
Okay.
But the lose as a team, that they accomplished yesterday.
It was just an orchestra of suck is all it was. And there's no other real way to put it or no friendly way to put it. It was everything down to Dylan being the quarterback that we always thought he was, down to the idea how they actually, Justin Fields had -5 passing yards at halftime. He had 12 total passing yards entering the fourth quarter. Like you stopped him in a very similar way that the Broncos did a couple weeks ago when those two teams met up in London. It was like you look up and Justin Fields, you can't move the ball, can't do anything, and you're just waiting. You're waiting for the shoe to drop, and then, of course, as it always does, the shoe fell.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like, the Browns are never going to come out and be like, hey, guys, we've given up, right? You're looking for context clues. You were coming out of the bye. We kind of gave the word of the warning on Friday when we had heard the full week of, guys are locked in, we're ready to go.
A little too positive.
I'm not leaving.
I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving.
Ask me again. And
I mean, he actually had a good game.
He actually did. And by the way,
he had a good game. Jerry Jeudy had a good game.
Miles had really nice parts of that game as well. Like, it wasn't like everybody on this team stinks. It's just you had enough guys make, whether it's mental miscues or communication breakdowns or just total and holistic brain farts. And guys, that is the sign of a team that is losing its fight in real time. And you got 4 games. I mean, 3 of the next 4 games are very, 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 I'm going to say it again, very winnable. And the reality is, I don't know that I can trust you to show up for that game after what you did yesterday, because the Jets didn't so much as beat you as the Jets just stepped aside as you took a paddle and beat your own fanny.
Yeah, Raiders game, I can't say the Browns are going to win this. Titans game, I can't say the Browns are going to win this. Like, there's not a pregame show I can do where I will say the Browns are going to win this year. But after that performance yesterday, like, the burden of proof is on them to show me that they're doing anything but trying to lose these games at this point.
Yeah, and the problem is, like, at some point you're 2-7. At some point you just are who you are. And like today, Kevin Stefanski was given an opportunity, flat out, to say, where have you seen growth from Dylan Gabriel in 5 games? Which is the most fair question. That's not insulting. It's not a leading question. And basically, he went on this just mind-numbing speech about, well, quarterbacks have ups and downs, and you never really know what they're... It's like, Kevin, just answer the stinking question.
I don't know that he could. I don't know that he looked at it and was like, oh, yeah.
So he just didn't want to lie?
I just don't know that he had an actual answer of, like, this is where Dylan's gotten better. If I were to ask you that, where do you think Dylan's gotten better in the 5 weeks?
He put his whole ass under a 22-yard pass.
Yeah.
He made a 22-yard pass look the way, like, if you put Josh Allen at a 5-yard line and said, all right, you got to have a 95-yard Hail Mary attempt. That's what Dylan Gabriel's 22-yard touchdown pass looked like.
It looked like a balloon up in the air. It looked like the kid from Up with the balloon. It just kept going and going. I couldn't believe the camera held on to it for as long as it did.
I couldn't believe that, like, generations of time didn't pass in between. It was like in Interstellar when they're close to the black hole and they go to the planet, and every minute, every tick you hear is worth like a year back on Earth. That's the kind of time that lapsed in between the time you released the throw and the time it was caught. And then
I got up, I went to the bathroom, I came back and sat down, and then the play was finished.
I got a text from somebody who I will say is a Gabriel gobbler, and I'm not going to put their name out. It's nobody you guys would know, but it's a friend of mine, and he was like, what a bullet. And I was like, this is a bit, right?
I saw people online trying to tell me that the all-22 clip shows a much better angle.
Yeah.
There's no angle of that's going to make that look good.
Is it from the ground up?
It was from behind, and it was like, see, look, he puts it in the only place that Jerry Jeudy could have caught it. Only place my ass. Jerry came back for the damn ball.
Also, by the way,
what are you talking about?
By the way, this is the reason why yesterday was so embarrassing is the Jets are incredibly hapless. You know how I know? Because there was a year and a half that transpired of airtime in that throw, and not one Jets defender was like, I'm going to catch that.
I'm going to go after that ball.
Even the defensive back was like, it's not worth going that fast.
Sauce Gardner from Indy almost made a play on the ball before any of those Jets defenders actually did.
I mean, you got embarrassed yesterday. And, it's so funny because I know we're going to talk about Dylan here, but smart, tough, and accountable has always been anytime a coach comes up with a slogan. Every time in my life, I've seen a coach be like, I've got 3 words that are going to define us. Usually, the words that are going to define them is, your ass is grass, about 4 years from now.
Or it's like Tony Romo on the broadcast yesterday saying the Patriots are DTF.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think Vrabel came up with that one, or do you think that was Romo on the spot?
I think.
I hope that was. I hope that was Vrabel.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Mike Vrabel is an intense man.
Are DTF, and then you can see Jim's having a heart attack on the air. Like, I don't think he knows what that means.
But like smart, all right. You didn't see any smart yesterday on the field. Tough. There was actually some toughness yesterday. Dylan Gabriel, as tiny as he is, that dude got his ass beat yesterday and kept getting up. He cannot do a damn thing. I shouldn't say a damn thing right. He can't do enough right to still be the starting quarterback of the Browns, but he can take an ass whooping, and I appreciate that.
What if Stefanski said that as his comments?
He should have. He should just be like, he just keeps getting up.
Like, have you seen when the pocket
putting him in dangerous way? When it
completely disappears, Dylan's got a magnificent way of Houdining it and getting out of it.
Yeah,
like, that would have been something.
Hey,
still not good.
Have
but
you guys seen the way he takes like borderline illegal hits to the face? I mean, and gets right up. Didn't even have to think about going to the blue tent.
Well, it really saved us from snapping that 4th and 1. So, like, on that was a good miss, is what that was.
But like everything, like, okay, you can't really control toughness. Toughness is something that guys have, or you harvest, or whatever. Smart, well, you got to be taught that. So you weren't smart yesterday. That's coachable. And then the biggest one is accountable. Like, guys, Bubba Ventrone has no business being employed today. He just doesn't. And even if you wanted to save his job, and this isn't about, because God bless it, I know this is going to happen. Oh, you want your pound of flesh. No, this is about accountability. If I came out here and dropped an F-bomb in the middle of this segment, and then they continued to let me do it, do you think people are going to be like, man, this is all about Nick Wilson? No, when I do it again, no one should be surprised.
That's
but where's the accountability? And by the way, it's not just, it's because here's the thing. This week it's Bubba Ventrone, but this week it's Dylan Gabriel. He wasn't good. He's borderline unplayable. By the way, it's Cameron Thomas, who is a NFL journeyman. Those guys are sired to be shot out of a cannon when they make mistakes like this. Where's the accountability? It's just a word to these people. It really is.
Yeah.
And by the way, when you ask them about leadership, the locker room will say, we don't need leadership. We're professionals. And then the coaches will say the same thing. And then I watch them brain fart their way to a loss to the freaking Jets. Like,
it's embarrassing.
You didn't lose.
It's embarrassing.
They literally, the Jets said, we're thinking about 26 and 27. And the Browns were like, well, we're thinking about 29. We're going to one-up you bastards because, I don't know, we want Fernando Mendoza. Maybe that's what Cameron Thomas was doing.
At this point, they might want Fernando Mendoza's kid if they're going to wait that long.
But it's not about pound of flesh. There is a consequence when you screw up royally. And by the way, you're not going to cut Devin Bush because he's actually a decent football player. That was a galactically stupid move. I got 4 guys who you can just show the locker room. If you do stupid crap, you're gone. We have a zero-tolerance policy for stupid, and they're not going to do it.
No, they haven't done it the entire stretch, Nick. Why would they do it now?
They haven't done it the entirety of Kevin Stefanski's tenure, and it's not just Kevin, the entirety of Andrew Berry's tenure. And that's the problem. From the top down, there is no accountability. There really isn't. Make the worst trade in NFL history. Don't worry. You got another couple years on your deal.
And then you get to leave and go take a job in baseball and put it as if you left and took the job in baseball.
And thank God that dodo was out there at MetLife yesterday so the Browns could celebrate the absolute essence of suck that guy has brought to this town, which is wild because they weren't the 27 Yankees before Paul DePodesta, but thank God, he got to be on hand as they handed that dodo his 100th career loss as chief of absolute and utter BS.
You know why he had to be there, right? It's because he wasn't in Berea at any point to say goodbye to everybody. Because he's not there, because he's in California. So he actually had to, get on a plane and show up to say bye to people instead of what most people would do when they lose their job in a professional sports system, where you just go down the hall and be like, hey, guys, let's say goodbye and let's do this.
But listen, I understand that fans, all the time, they want their pound of flesh. I get it.
Yeah.
And I understand that a fair amount of the time, your job as leadership is to safeguard that. That is the kind of loss you make an example of. And so when Kevin Stefanski not only doesn't make an example, but continues to spout the same boring crap that he spouted for all 5.5 years here, you're losing the locker room. I listen, I've said this whole time, Kevin, I don't think you're as bad as Andrew is, but you just can't lose the locker room. Well, allowing Cam Thomas and Devin Bush and Dylan Gabriel to keep starting and Bubba Ventrone to still have access to the facilities. Like, don't be surprised when these teams show up against the Raiders, the 49ers, the Titans, 3 very winnable games, and you end up getting housed by 20 points or more.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're right. The lack of accountability has existed here for a long time, and it'll continue to exist. There was no part of me that thought he was going to actually fire Bubba Ventrone today.
No, that's the problem, though.
And I know, but that's like anybody that thought that was happening. I got all sorts of fraudulent scams I can sell you because that's just not how he's operated the entire stretch of the way. This is
the point that I think is important here.
Right.
Is this wouldn't be Kevin deviating from who he's been. This would because Kevin has held that currency so long of, hey, I'm going to steady the ship. We're not going to make big changes. When you actually do it, it has consequence. If you cut Cameron Thomas today, and again, nice. I think he's got 2.5 sacks here, a sack and a half, something like that. He's not a bad football player, but he is a journeyman. That when you do that, if you don't do it all the time, if you do it sporadically or periodically, it actually has meaning. But instead, it is, well, we got to coach better, we got to play better, we got to think better, we got to go to the bathroom together better. Guys, you should not have lost that game. You just shouldn't have.
Right.
And if I hear one more person trot out this is who we thought they were going to be, guys, they're losing games they shouldn't lose. It's the first time they've been favorited all season. Or wait, wasn't there one other game?
No, it's all season long.
All season long, and he didn't just lose. Right? You had 2 weeks to plot that loss.
As the Jets sold off their defense, and everyone thought that the Jets defense that already wasn't good to begin with anyway. The Jets legitimately were playing for the next draft. They weren't trying to win that game yesterday. And there's no part of that offense that told me they were trying to win that game.
And to the media, and listen, I'm not trying to call anybody out specifically. This is a blanket criticism.
But call somebody out, please.
But you know who you are.
Yeah.
But to the people who showed up today apathetic, or to the people who do their, this is the know-it-alls that have to say, guys, I had this before anybody else. I said it in January they were going to suck this year. That doesn't give you the creative license to not care and to accept this absolute crap show. It does not have to look like this. You can be more competitive than this. And when Okie Dokie Kevin is around, or when just whatever, just this absolute laissez-faire attitude from this organization, that is not acceptable. It just is not. And by the way, it has permeated the locker room. All right? I'm not ready to officially call the locker room out on behalf of Kevin Stefanski, but hell, it's not like a standing 8 count right now.
Well, and so that's where, if they fired Ventrone or whatever, yes, it would have shown accountability, but I also don't know that it all of a sudden would have gotten the locker room or anyone back to being anything more than what we saw on Sunday.
You're right, but you have to try.
Well, but the trying part of this should have happened weeks ago. That's the problem with this. The trying part of this could have already happened, and you wouldn't be in a spot where you lost to the Jets the way that they did. This was coming down the tracks for a long time, and where I would say I think a lot of people missed it is that we thought that they were better than the real slums of the bottom of the NFL. But they're showing us you're no better than the slums of the bottom of the NFL. You are the slums of the bottom of the NFL.
If you stop trying, you're giving them the creative license to give up.
Well, doesn't it sound like Stefanski already has given up?
No, I mean, he sounded him.
He sounds defeated. He sounds like he already knows what his time is with the Browns is done, and he's just kind of I'll go through the press conferences and I'll say absolutely nothing, and it just is what it is. The time for getting on Stefanski is when me and you were doing it a year ago at this time, and everyone said that we were crazy for going after him too early.
If you let this play out, again, I hate when it's avoidable. I hate when if you just step up and show leadership. What was the Jimmy Haslam line? The vote of confidence, which, by the way, the amount of people that took that to the bank and ran with it, how silly do you feel today? But you find out what you have in your leaders when things get tough.
When things get bad, yeah. When the bad gets bad.
This isn't just about Kevin, because I want to continue to make it about this. Kevin has absolutely failed this year. As of right now, that's what yesterday brought you. Absolute and immense and total failure. But that's not just Kevin Stefanski. That's Andrew Berry. It's West Coast Paul. It's the Haslams. You didn't plan for it to look like this. Maybe you didn't plan to win the Super Bowl this year. In fairness, you planned to win the Super Bowl last year, and you won 3 damn games. But this was not the intent of your plan. It couldn't have been, because you've been non-competitive in 4 out of 9 games, and you just lost to the previously 1-win New York freaking Jets, who are the only team in football that is worse run than you.
I get what you're saying, but at this point, again, the burden of proof is on them. They have to show me that this wasn't actually their plan to lose all these games in the way that they're doing it, because every time we turn around thinking that this team should be better, they show us reasons why they're not. Again, 12 passing yards for the Jets through 3 quarters? How do you not win that game, Nick? That's about as winnable of a game as you're supposed to have.
I mean, we shouldn't go too. He finished with 54.
Yeah, because he had 45-yard one big-time play with Breece Hall, and that was it.
This is why they're smarter than us, because we see yesterday as a bad thing and as a sign of a lack of culture and toughness and accountability and, anything good. And there's a process. Guys, just shut up and enjoy the process.